my name's Tom Campbell. I'm a ring announcer based in the UK. I hear you're looking for a ring announcer. Here's what I do. And it was like, there's a video. It's a 2-minute video, which is what here's a video, is what I do. And I thought, hey, look, he'll probably come back and say no. Somebody else will probably want to do it, and that's fine. But then I've not let myself down and not gone for it. And haven't created a problem. And then half an hour later, he got back and went, yeah, this is great. What's your fee? And I was like, oh, okay. Well, the fee might put him off. Here's the fee. Yeah, great. You free next Sunday? Aye. And I just went, can you give me 24 hours? I just need to check in with my wife. So, and me and my wife went for dinner the next day, for lunch the next day. And I brought it up and I said, look, this is kind of the gig that's come my way. And she went, okay, well, what's the problem? I said, well, it's on the day of the party. And she went, okay, well, what's the problem? And she went, go do it. It's fine. Jesus, go do it. And the thing that we always say when these gigs sort of come my way, and sometimes they can be a bit disruptive. Like the dream would be to go and get a wonderful job in the States and live out there, enjoy. And she'll always say, thank me with a yacht in America. I'll go, all right, fair. Right, so I'm blessed to have the most supportive wife, who is my biggest supporter, and I'm her biggest fan. And she comes to quite a few of the shows when she can as well. And I always appreciate her input on stuff as well. Like she's a broadcaster as well, and she's a producer, so she knows her onions with a lot of stuff. And I've always been very grateful to have her in my corner all the time. And which is why I made it so contractually she can't leave. That's why we got married. And then I got to go down to London, and I got to go to Bloodsport, and I was stressing because I got a train, and it was in the summer, so the lines had melted. Yes, UK public transport, and the train was delayed by like 2 hours. My plan was to get to the venue like a good hour and a half before the show. I ended up getting there like half an hour before doors. And I was like, oh my God, this is a terrible first impression. I messaged Josh and said, look, really sorry, Josh, this is happening running late. And I'm sweating. I've got all my notes prepped, so I'm ready to go. But I would have just liked to have been there a bit earlier to just get the vibe. And I come in and I'm sweating and I'm panicking. I go, hiya, Josh. I will, really sorry. He's like, oh, hey, man, good to see you. He wasn't asked. He was like, hey, good to see you. And then we just went for it, and it was a different experience ring announcing for that kind of show. Bring all the passion, bring all the energy, but then you're also announcing the times for the matches. Nice short matches. You know, we were done by like 8:45. Hey, it's amazing. I love an early finish. I got to try out one of the pod hotels in London as well.
Ooh.
Every time I go to London now, I stay in a pod hotel. It's like sleeping in a coffin, but it's 20 quid. It's great. But all the love to Josh. Josh Barnett was great. A really lovely guy. And I think he was just happy to. I don't know why they hadn't had a ring announcer sorted already, or whether there was an issue where one couldn't make it. I don't know. But I was very glad to solve a problem for him. And I kind of made that part of my patter when we first spoke. And I went, look, just tell me where you need me to be, and I'll sort the rest. I'll chat to the wrestlers. Like literally, if you hire me as a ring announcer, I always make sure to say to the promoter, look, you haven't got to worry about any of the MC stuff for the rest of the night. Like worry about all the other problems on the show. Worry about everything else, all the logistics. You haven't got to worry about, as long as you've given me kind of any information that you want me to get out there that I might not necessarily have. For example, it was the Bloodsport rules that I needed, so I had them because you do all the rundown of the rules. So as long as you give me anything that I need, I'll just crack on with the rest. You're all good. And I like think Andrew Bowers would speak to that, and me being I try and be a positive influence backstage where I don't go to him with problems, I go to him with solutions to problems. And that's just kind of what you do as well. I think when you're part of a team, like as a ring announcer, when you're part of a team, you go, okay, well, this has happened. How do we work around this? Rather than sort of standing there with your hand in your pants in your pockets waiting for instruction. You go, okay, well, how can we make this work as a team? How can we pull forward as a team? Why don't I go out there and fill in for time here? One of my favorite moments for that was many years ago. This is 2020, early 2020, before the world shut down. We had a show for North, and there was going to be, the plan was going to be the tag match ends, 2 teams run in, wild 3-team brawl, split up by refs. Andrew Bowers comes out, makes a rare appearance, comes out and books a 3-way tag match for the next show. That was the creative, and so it's all rolling fine. But then there's a fight in the crowd, and which is a once in a blue moon at North. I think it's the only time I think I've ever known it happen at a North show. There have been some drunk hooligans that turn up for the first time. Don't come to North and be a dick. And what happened was Andrew Bowers got sidetracked dealing with that, and then all of a sudden this brawl's taking place, and this is the pit that Bowers is meant to walk out. So I said to Chop James Haley, who was on the sound desk, I went, I'm just going to go out, and I know what he wants to say. I'm just going to go out and do the bit. So then I walk out and I do the announcement, and we carry it on from there. And it looked like nothing. It all flowed fine. I went out, did the announcement, everything got back, and then I went backstage and just Bowers super calm went, cheers for that, mate. Like sorted. So I thought if I go out and do that, the worst thing that's going to happen is the Bowers will come back and go, actually it was me that was meant to do that, and you've now ruined the night. I thought, well, which he wouldn't have done anyway, but I just thought this is going to solve a problem now. Let's solve a problem now. And if I get a bollocking for it, then so be it. The amount of times where I've had producers on radio shows and I've done something and I've just gone, look, if anyone asks, just chuck me under the bus. Just chuck me under. If anyone asks, just say I couldn't be handled and I was out of control and I decided to swap these songs. If anyone asks, throw me under the bus. Don't want you getting in trouble for something I've done. But yeah, and I think when you're on a show like that, you're part of a team, and I think there's nothing wrong. I mean, I'm nervous now that I'm just gonna get like 3 ring announcers just jumping into the crowd, into the ring, going, "I'll save the show." No, just
it's Tom's fault.
No,
Tom,
Nikki, stop it!
It's all Tom's fault. He's set the precedent.
Ring announcing revolution. Oh,
Rebel
dear.
Tom.
Oh dear.
Rebel yell. Just like yes. But dude, no, that is awesome. Like I was just thinking on your feet. Just want to quickly rewind again and just to check on something. Like, did you sort of say, about the Bloodsport, having to check with, your wife? You went out for a meal. Was it a case of like, the old, if I ask in public, I'm not going to get shouted at?
Do you know what? It wasn't the plan, but now I think about it, it probably was. I mean, I've been an arse sometimes in private and in public, and I kind of, do you know what? I not to take it for granted. I had a feeling she'd be okay with it anyway. But I have a real guilt complex about this is part of my whole mental health journey. I have a guilt complex about a lot of stuff, and believe it or not, I suffer sometimes with quite a bit of low self-esteem, and that's all part of the journey that I'm on. So I think it was more, I was overthinking a situation which I knew my wife would just be fine with. But I think it's more a case of going, I want to treat this with what I believe is the credibility that it deserves, rather than just sweeping it under and go, look, this is something that we're doing, and it all was all fine. But she's been very understanding with all that kind of stuff in the past, and I've been ever so grateful to her, because of that, and because of her understanding, and because of Josh Barnett needing a ring announcer. I can now put GCW on my CV forever, whether or not they ring me back. Oh, is it other matter? But that's all fine. GCW is on there forever. There's a lovely photo that was taken on the night of me with the GCW logo and Bloodsport behind me. And I went, yeah, that's it. That's the one. Ring announcers, right? Top tip for ring announcers. Get your photos from your photographers. Credit them properly, of course. Because if you're looking to get work, those lovely professional photos, they don't half do the job. They don't half do the job, I tell you what. Get those lovely professional. And also, when there are photographers backstage, North Wrestling gets stomp photography, and they are super, super cool. Don't be afraid to go. If they've got a setup where they're doing profile shots and stuff, don't be afraid to reach out as the ring announcer and go, can I get a few photos from you while you're here? And the rest is history. So I'm sort of collecting photographers like Pokemon over the years. I was very happy to have my first ever Beyond Gorilla photos during the Burning Heart Pro Wrestling Tour. I described it and I stand by it as the Ribera Steakhouse jacket of wrestling photographs. To have a Beyond Gorilla photo done, like, yes, that's it. And Robin's class, so hilariously, so Robin's the guy behind Beyond Gorilla. He said, I remember you came into my college in Birmingham and did a talk on radio. And he's like, I was like, I'm so flattered that you remember that. And I think there's still photos of me doing a class there. I don't think it was that one, but he says, I remember you coming in and doing that. And I was like, oh, bless you. And he's so good. There's so many good photographers. A photographer of the year category.
Right, I thought about it. I've thought about it so many times. Every year I'm like this close to sort of doing it, and I'm like,
just do it.
It's another award.
Do it. What's another award between friends?
But again, like sort of said, there's just so many out there. I love because I kind of I like to draw. I'm like artistic. I'm a very visual kind of guy. So when I see some of the photos, it's just legitimately just like I can just sit there and stare at them, and it's just So again, very important. Obviously not on the night, but they're very important for getting your brand over, getting your promotion over, for the socials. You put photos out there that get people's attention. You're only a click away from being like, oh, that promotion's near me, I'll go to a show. That's what a photographer can do. So
that's it. No one's gonna find you if you don't tell them and shout about who you are and what you do. No, if that's what you're looking to do, i.e. get out there and push yourself more, then take those opportunities, credit the photographers appropriately, buy the photos as and when you need to as well. Give some money to the actual photographers as and when. At least offer to, at least credit. Because it's stuff like that sets you apart, and it's stuff like that I guarantee will open doors. All I'll say to ring announcers is make show reels, Bobby. Make show reels. Show off how good you are, because there's so many I know who have spoken on, I really want to do more, or there was I had one guy who's like, I'm very envious of the work that you do. I said, well, it's there for you. It's there for you because that person was so good at what he does. It's there for you. It's just a case of taking a bit of time to push yourself out there in the social game and go, this is what I do. This is how brilliant I am. That's it. You're so close to doing it, and it's just and that's how those opportunities come. My way. There are better ring announcers all over the world. There are, but there might be better ring announcers who don't push themselves publicly, and to them, I say thank you.
Right.
It's true. Push yourself out there. Jesus, there's plenty for everyone.
That's it. What's the worst they're going to say? No, or they're not going to reply to you.
What's the worst they will do? They'll say no. Exactly. And then you'll lick your wounds and you'll crack on. Honestly, I've had more no's than yeses in my life.
I've had to do exactly like people like, because obviously I have to kind of randomly message people and be like, do you fancy having a chat, or do you fancy doing an episode? And that was my first hurdle when I first started doing this, was like, I don't want to bother people. I don't want to, be that guy. I don't want to be sliding into DMs. It's like, I've kind of got a rule where I'll only try and do it if I interact with them a little bit beforehand. And then I'll be like, fancy a chat. But yeah, you've got
That's
to.
That's a nice way of doing it. Slide in, as long as you're not sliding in with a picture of your penis, then I think you're fine, to be honest with you.
I've got a Dick Van Dyke picture.
Oh, sorry, go on.
I was saying, I've got a Dick Van Dyke picture, and that's my unsolicited picture.
Unsolicited Dick Van Dyke pic. I like it. Yeah, that's it. You miss all the chances you don't take. And as I said, I put myself out there for many things. Recently, I mean, okay, I haven't talked about this. Recently, I started a big old thing to try and get a gig at AEW for their show in Manchester. You know what? And I just thought, why not? Let's do it. Let's send it to Tony Khan. Let's attach a video show reel. What's the worst that could happen? What is the worst that could happen? The video show reel, it did over 500,000 views, probably 750,000 if you count on the other social platforms as well. I got bags of support from all over the world and some from really lovely people that reached out as well. Nothing came of it because they already had the gig for Francesca. And do you know what? Genuinely, had I known that, I would have wound it back, because the last thing I'd ever want to do is try and do anything that might undercut anything that someone like Francesca's doing, because she's brilliant. Not that it would, but I would have. But if they'd announced months before Francesca is announcing for Ring of Honor, I would have just left it well alone. I'd have left it well alone, because that would. Why would I want to knowingly stomp over somebody else's glorious moment? Absolutely not. So when Francesca turned up, I don't think I was the first person to go, that is fantastic, because she is brilliant. But we did this whole campaign. I was so proud of it. I was so pleased with it. And with that, I had a bunch of nasty messages and toxic messages from it as well. And it's awful. But you know what? Yeah, you push it to the side, but also, this is the tough thing. You know when something's done well, and you know when something's gone viral, when you start getting messages from people who you don't follow saying how much they hate you. That is when you know that something has truly reached a different plane. And then you could either reply back with quippy comments that they'll inevitably never reply to, or you can just block them and move on with your day. But that's when I knew, actually, this is gaining traction now, because this is happening as well. Nothing came of it, and that's okay. And I'm okay with that. Actually, I say nothing came of it. Two promotions approached me for work this year. So I'll be announcing some debuts this year as well. That's really lovely. And I think that genuinely came about around some of the buzz that we generated over that campaign. And I'll take this moment, as I think I did every day when I saw those numbers going up, just to say thank you, because so many wonderful people got behind that and really pushed for that to become a thing. And you didn't need to, and I was ever so grateful that you did. And and from the bottom of my heart, thank you, because I love what I do. I'm so proud of what I do, and I'm so happy that a lot of people are willing to come on the ride with me. And over the moon. So did it lead to announcing at Dynamite in Manchester? No. Was I happy with the campaign? Absolutely.
But like you said, if you got all the stuff out of it, jobs are good, and it's done. You know, it's out there. People have seen it. It's got, like I said, so many eyes on it. You know, it's had a positive impact. So exactly. Of course.
I hope it's an inspiration to others as well. I hope it's an inspiration for other people who want to go out and get it, because even though nothing came of it in that circumstance, there would have been times in the past where it would have done. And I'd like to think that it would encourage people to go out there and just and shoot for the moon, because the worst that happens is you land among the stars. So don't be put off by the fact that nothing came of it. Other things did. You've always got to shoot your shots, haven't you? You've always got to shoot your shots.
In the words of Val Venus, you shoot your shot. That's
there's a name. Okay.
But like sort of said, it's just getting yourself out there. It's having the confidence to do it, I suppose. Like I said, I suffer from it. I still do. I did when it started. It's just being like, you know what? Doesn't matter. Just do it.
You've got to push through. I made that video show reel during a real low dip, like in a real mental pit. I've been a bit teary about something that happened the day before. I was in a real low, and I put it together, and I went, I'm rubbish. This is crap. I went, I hate it. I don't like it. I'm going to press send anyway. I've done it. So and you've got to I don't want to downplay like the hold, the vice grip that depression has on people, because it's a cloud that sometimes never goes away, and I never want for a second to diminish that. But as and where you can, if you can feel the fear and feel the sad and do it anyway and push through, or even just take one step forward in that direction. It can be the tiniest of footsteps forward. To quote Frozen 2, just do the next right thing. And you never know where it'll take you. It'll take you to, in my case, over 500,000 views and no job with AEW. But it was worth the punt.
It was
not even my best friend Jeff Jarrett helped me out on that occasion. Not even my best friend Jeff Jarrett could get me in there on that occasion. He has been very lovely and very supportive over the years. And on that occasion, not even the power of Jeff could do it. So it was obviously on a hiding to nothing.
That's it. If Jeff can't do it, who can? Double J.
Exactly. Love
it's just the global force of wrestling. It's just
hey.
I just rewind again because I mentioned the GCW thing. I mentioned it earlier. I'm a massive film nerd. As soon as I saw there was a show called Bloodsport, I was just like, yeah, Kumite. I was like, that to me is just awesomeness in itself. So to have a photo in front of something that says Bloodsport, man, I'm like, yep, get my JCVD on, I'll sort it.
Yeah, it was a great night. It was a great venue as well. I love doing the Electric Ballroom. That was a nice chance for me to exorcise some demons as well at the Electric Ballroom, because the previous year, was it year before you, I debuted at Progress. I did my first ever Progress show, and it was off the back of All In weekend, where I had hosted North Go South, which was a North show in London. I'd done some great video work, some great PR stuff with Grado, which saw us gate crash in the Rev Pro show that weekend. That was good fun. I was part of a Progress pop-up event at Box Park with the tag team, with the Progress tag team title match. I was at All In itself, and I was doing live coverage for Cultaholic across the weekend as well. We did probably 6 news videos across London, down Wembley Way we were filming. And I got to Monday, and I'm going to name drop, I'd just been for breakfast with Jay Hunter of OSW Review. We'd had a lovely breakfast together in London, and my voice was completely gone, completely shot to pieces. And I got in the ring, and I realized, and as I got there, I went, oh no. And I pushed through, but we did I think we did about 5-6 matches. It was a bit of a curse show because there was loads of technical issues, as well as the fact that my voice was completely falling apart. And I realized that as we got near the end of the show, I went, I can't do it. I actually can't push anymore because I feel like I'm going to do some long-term damage. I got really upset. And I went out, and so they blessed Progress Wrestling. They were so understanding. So what ended up happening was I went out and said, look, I've got to come away. And the crowd chanted, please come back. And I got upset in the ring. And so what ended up happening was the Rufus Hound was on commentary. Warren Banks was backstage. So Rufus came to do ring announcing, and Warren replaced Rufus on commentary. Rufus had never done ring announcing before. So I stayed through the night, and I basically wrote prompt cards for him throughout the night. So I was prompting Rufus on what he had to say at different bits and how to say it in different parts. But obviously then any time that he needed any extra advice, I could barely speak. I could barely be heard. Nina Samuels made me this lovely like hot honey and lemon drink that brought some life back, but just not enough. But I was absolutely just devastated, but it happened, and I went home. I spent a weekend with my mum and dad afterwards, which was nice, but my voice was just completely rotten. And they were very lovely, and they were very supportive. They said, "Look, if the chance comes up, we'll definitely have you back." And it hasn't materialized yet because they've got enough people that they have nearby. I'm up in Newcastle. They've got down in London. They've got plenty of people that can step in as and when they need to. But then when I saw GCW was at Electric Ballroom, and I got to stand in the Electric Ballroom with a full voice, and there were people who go to Progress who chanted "Welcome back," I was like, okay, that's a demon exorcised. Nice. Another lesson, another teachable moment there. If you like, these things happen, and they don't define you. They do not define you. And you get the best, you make the most out of them. I think I clipped off footage from the show once I felt a sense of humor about it, which I didn't at first. Probably the following day, where I went on the Progress on demand, and I clipped off the bit at the start where I'm here going, my voice is shot and I'm gonna be here all night. And a few moments later, I have to leave now. But you, that's it. There's always some gold, even when things don't go quite right. There's always some gold in it. I'd say nothing but love to the entire Progress team, who were really lovely with me that night, considering I spoiled their show on my debut night. It doesn't always go well, but when it does, it goes. But when it doesn't, it doesn't.
That's the thing. See, if these things happen, if they can happen to Tom Campbell, they can happen to you, and it's okay.
And it's okay. Don't let it eat you alive. Just feel sad, obviously. Feel what you need to feel, and then you bounce back and you go again.
Exactly. Why do we fall down? So we can learn to pick ourselves back up again.
Why do we fall down? Because someone left roller skates on top of the stairs.
I was going to say my shoelaces were undone.
Hey, that too.
Dude, I've just noticed the time, mate. I do, but I sort of thought, I don't know, obviously, how long, you.
We can go a little bit. We can go a little bit longer. We can go a little bit longer if you want.
Awesome. Because you mentioned there about obviously adding GCW, to the CV. Obviously TNA as well. A few years back is another one on the list.
Yeah, that was. So that was a lovely thing that was sprung on me a little bit. I won't, Shy Bairns getting out. That's the phrase up in Newcastle. Shy Bairns getting out, and I sort of put the feelers out there with Joe Hendry and a few other people and gone. TNA are doing Impact Wrestling at the time. They're in Newcastle. Do you reckon they're going to need a ring announcer? Are they going to bring one with them, or do they need a ring? So I kind of put the feelers out there, and they went, "Look, we don't quite know what the situation is, but we'll be in touch if we do need anything from you." But they were doing some PR stuff with Cultaholic as well, so that was nice. So Joe Hendry came in to what I believed was to announce that Cultaholic was sponsoring the X Division match. Cool. So we had Joe Hendry on the news video in the morning. I've got so much love for Joe. So, like, a little side quest. Joe Hendry and I were on the Burning Heart Pro Wrestling Tour in 2024. And Joe had said, he told me this afterwards. He said, normally if people ask if I can pick up and drive somebody, I always say no. And they went, would you mind picking up Tom Campbell and driving him to each of the shows? He went, oh yeah, I'll pick up Tom. That's fine. So that was nice. So we spent like 3 days together in the car driving from Cumbria to Liverpool to Wolverhampton to Wales and then we ended up staying like he said, "Oh, do you mind if we kind of go halfway up the road and then book into 2 rooms at the Travel Lodge? I'll sort the rooms at the Travel Lodge and then we'll carry on the rest of the way." And I was like, "Oh, God." So we spent a lot of time laughing and joking and having fun all the time in the world for Joe. Do you know what? For me to watch someone like Joe, who has always been true to himself and has always had a set vision, to be where he is now and doing what he's doing now, just absolutely fills me with joy. I went to my in-laws' home for Christmas, and my 2 nephews are wrestling fans. And it was when my youngest nephew, Aiden, came around and said, "We're going to play wrestling. I'm Joe Hendry." I went, "Oh, that's so good." And I was like, "Oh, my mate." And I was like, "He's my friend, he is." And I was like, "No, he's not." Okay, fine.
Yeah, he is.
No, he's not. He's not your friend. I was like, fine. So I mentioned to Joe and a few other people, like, if you need a ring, I'd love to do it. So Joe had come in to do the PR and he said, I've been running this joke on the news videos, and I didn't realize that we were going to pay it off. Where I've been going, where I mentioned Joe Hendry, and I said, "Joe, do you want to come and say hi?" And gesturing like off screen, like he was hang on, he's playing Connect 4. He's busy at the moment. He's just organising his sock drawer. He can't come out of the And I've done it a couple of times, and then the opportunity presented itself to actually pay it off, and we did. So then Joe Hendry, I said, "I told you he was here the whole time." And so Joe announces the match, and then he hands me some breaking news. And I read this thing out, which was saying that Impact Wrestling are proud to announce that Tom Campbell will be your ring announcer for Turning Point in Newcastle. And then all the Cultaholic lads came in. I did a big cry. Joe Hendry found it all hilarious. And then Joe went, "Also, you're booked for the rest of the tour, so you're coming to Coventry with us as well." And I was like, "Oh my God, that's amazing." My wife already knew about this. Because Cultaholic already knew. So my boss had already spoken to my wife and said, "Tom's going to be away this weekend." And she went, "That's lovely. I won't say a word." So she was in on it as well, the monster. And that was, and so then I went and toured with the Impact lot, and oh my gosh, that was so much fun. So Simon Cassidy did the show in Glasgow, because absolutely Simon Cassidy should do the show in Glasgow. Well, sod me, it should be Cassidy. So Simon did that one. Then when they came to the UK, I jumped on the tour there. I don't know if I've ever told this story on here. So Grado was on the tour with us as well. And Grado, so the plan was we'll do the Newcastle show and then head to Coventry on the coach through the night. And then get to Coventry and check into the room, and then we'll have 2 nights in Coventry. And And Grado had said, just jump in with when the show finishes, just come find me and we'll drive to Coventry together. I went, brilliant. And Joe had said, do you need a place on the coach? I went, no, I'm fine. Grado's driving me to Coventry. I'm going to jump in with Grado. And I got all my stuff together and I said, who was it I said it to? Was it Gail Kim? I said, has anybody seen Grado? And Gail went, yeah, I think he left about 20 minutes ago. And I rang Grado and he picked up the phone and he went, Tom, no! I went, did you forget? He went, mate, I'm in here with Rhino. Oh, mate. I was like, don't worry. I'm howling on the phone because I'm going, all right, well, worst case scenario, I'm in Newcastle anyway. I'll go home, sleep at mine, and I'll get the train across to Coventry or something. It was just reaction, it was just a dream. But then Joe went, oh no, there's space on the coach. Come join us on the coach. So then I got to ride on this lovely coach for several hours, just hanging out with Naomi. We just sat together and we shared stories. She watched my engagement video with Alex. She showed me some videos of her and Big Jim, not the rude ones. And she's just lovely. She was lovely. They were all great, actually. They were all brilliant. And we had 2 lovely nights in Coventry. The second show my mum and dad and my brother came to. Because I said, come along, because I think they'd realise, he's quite thin now in this wrestling game. So they come along to that one. And so it was good because my brother was a big fan of Rhino growing up. So Rhino was on the tour with us as well. And they were all great. I announced the main event on the last night, and it was the X Division title. It was Chris Sabin versus Frankie Kazarian. And we did like corner, main event style ring announcing. When I say that, I mean like there's, you normally when you ring announce, you do it as they come into the ring. I always normally the quick parlance I use if we're in a rush to organize stuff, I'll go, Bowers, do you want corner for the main? Yeah, okay, cool. So we did corner. And I've had some lovely comments throughout the day. And just as I finished announcing it, Frankie Kazarian just looked at me and went, very good. I said, thank you, Frankie. And then backstage afterwards. So and typically on the last day, as I wanted it, my voice is starting to get a bit shot. I should look after my voice more. It wasn't as bad as Progress. I could still work, but you could tell that it was going to die a death the following day. So it was a bit rougher on the last night. And I was backstage, and I was chatting again to Frankie. And Frankie had said, he said, you've been really good on this tour, really good. And he said, like, you really brought some gravitas, and we really liked. And as he's complimenting me, Scott D'Amore has walked in, and Frankie's there going, yeah, you've really brought the energy. You've really lifted this tour. You've been great. And Scott's gone, yeah, but he sounds shit tonight. Thanks, Scott. Love you too.
Thank you.
Scott was great. Scott was really lovely, and Scott was very complimentary. And again, like a real value that I try and bring is I say, like, once you book me as a ring announcer, yeah, I'm going to worry about that. And Scott had echoed that back to me, and he said, I like booking people where I give them their job and I don't have to think about it. And I gave you the job, I didn't have to think about it. And I said, we'll call on you again. You and Grado are must-haves for the next UK tour. That's great. And then Scott D'Amore left the company. Shucks. And they haven't toured the UK since. It was great. I've got nothing but love for doing Impact Wrestling and TNA. I now, much to the chagrin of several people that watch Cultaholic, I refer to myself as TNA alumni. And whenever we talk about it, I'll go, well, as TNA alumni, this is my opinion on it. And people who get very cross in comments go, oh my God, you did like one show for them. Get over yourself.
Well, no, I did more than one show.
Speaking as TNA alumni, I did more than one show.
Exactly.
They were brilliant, and I would welcome the chance to do it all again with them. Obviously, the parameters have changed in that company since then. They have gone from strength to strength. They have Leon Slater as front and center for now, an absolute superstar. And I could not be happier for someone like Leon Slater, who is absolutely stealing the show at the moment. Long may he reign. I took great joy in announcing his record-breaking North title reign. for every like so for the entirety. I think maybe I missed 3 shows, so you can sort of time lapse it, and for every defense, I always said how many days he'd been champion, and the number goes up and goes up and goes up and goes up. And it just, again, lovely to see him getting his flowers, well deserved, just to be in there with people he's dreamed about wrestling in the past, and headlining NXT shows. Like, come on, let's go! What a boy!
And to be in the conversation of the man who retires AJ Styles, how ridiculous is that? How crazy? It's not ridiculous. It's like, it's crazy in the best way possible. The boy from Bradford could be the man that ends AJ Styles' career.
Bradford boy done good. Lot of love for Leon Slater.
That's crazy. But yeah, obviously it was him versus Kemper at the Leeds show where we was at, and I got to I heard the day tally kind of thing. That was a banging match as well, by the way. That was a great show. I kind of put it on socials, but if North want any more feedback, the first time you guys came to Leeds, mate, that was one of my favourite shows of the year.
Bless you. Thank you.
I will be there next time. I didn't make it the last time because it was a Sunday, but the next one it's back on a Friday. I begged and I pleaded. I was like, please, if you come back, do it on a Friday. And you have. So thank you.
No, thank you. No, we're thankful for you and for Leeds, who showed up and showed out. So we can't not come back as often as we can now. Like, it's now our second home. And the thing is, I think Andrew Bowers has spoke about this with me on Cultaholic, so I'm not speaking out of turn when I say that, we'd love to take North Wrestling to the rest of the country. Newcastle is always our home base. Always our home base. But the rest of the country's talking about North. We should give them the chance to take a look at it as well. And Leeds is a sort of, I think, testing the water in that a little bit, just seeing how it goes. And Leeds have been loud and proud, and you have people that have made the journey from Newcastle to Leeds for the show as well. So, but there's people who have become new fans of North through coming to the show at Leeds. I spoke to a few people who've never been to an North show before, who went, well, we're definitely coming back. And I spoke to a few people who went, not only we come back, but we bought tickets for the big weekend that's coming up in Newcastle, so we're going to make the trip there as well. So I was delighted to see a lot of people showing up for North Wrestling, and new fans as well, especially.
Well, shout out to my boy Dan, who always co-hosts the True Grit Review Hype episodes. Dan has been down with North since day one, I believe, or day one-ish. Dan loves North, and he's constantly like, when we did the North, I think we did the Hype episode before we went to the North show. I just sat back and Dan just told me all the information. He took the lead. He's like, oh, this guy's held the belt for this long. This guy's former champion. This guy's been in North for this long. I was like, Dan, I love you.
He gave you all the cheat sheet information that you needed.
Just sat there bookmarking. Like, yeah. Good man.
Good.
But yeah, Dan Griffin, what a guy. And I'll just take a second as well. I mentioned him before.
I love Dan. And it was every time I see Dan Griffin, he's there with a big smile and a big hug. And I'm only sad that I don't see him enough. I remember one particular show that we went to. I think I was there watching the show, and we had a lovely night out in York afterwards. And I often think of that night. We had a lovely night out in York. We did a couple of beers around. I think it was after the NXT show in York, before the world shut down. We had a lovely time. You know?
Yeah. Oh,
were you with
hopefully you went to the Artful Dodger, because that's my favourite pub in York. But
Dan will be able to tell you which pubs we're in, hopefully.
Yeah, I'll message Dan afterwards. I'm like, you and Tom go to the Artful Dodger? He'll be like, yes. I'm like, legends. But dude, just making fully aware of the time now. Before I let you go though, I just want to it would be amiss if whilst I was talking to you, I didn't name drop my boy, Mr. Ryan Palmer, who
yes, love dude, Ryan.
There we go. Thank you. But I messaged him. I was like, I'm Tom fucking Campbell. He's like, mate, you'll have such a great time. You'll have. It's awesome. You'll love it. You'll finish that episode with a massive smile on your face. I was like,
Ryan. I think there was one day I didn't know who the ref was going to be for North, and I saw Ryan. I think I went up and Ryan's here. Yes, everything's going to be okay. And it's true. When Ryan's there, everything is okay. I'm a big fan of Ryan's work. Oh no! Obviously, I'm sending love back to Ryan anyway. But do give him love from me when you next.
the most hench referee I've ever seen in British wrestling.
He's getting bigger, isn't he?
Oh,
He's getting bigger.
size! To quote Nathan Black.
Goddamn size of him. Copyright infringement.
If this episode gets pulled down, I'm like, no, Nathan, no. Dude, honestly, I just kind of feel like, I've got to put a pin in it somewhere, otherwise I'm just going to keep you. And I'll be like, tell you what,
do you not want me to tell you my concussion story?
You can do if you're quite happy to. Yes, I might have to make this a two-parter, but yes, please go for it.
I can tell you my concussion story to end on if you want to.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
All right. I got booked for Wrestle Carnival last year. And just they did a comeback show and they needed a ring announcer, so I got booked to do that. And as the days wore on, I was asked, "Do you fancy being in the Rumble? We're doing a Rumble. Do you want to be in the Rumble?" And there's a guy who I met at Discovery Wrestling who I have a strong affinity to, who I genuinely think is one of my favorites on the scene, and it's Big Strong Man. And I knew he was going to be at the show, and he didn't know quite what he was going to do. He said he was going to be in the Rumble, so he said, "Do you want to be in the Rumble?" So Gary had asked me, "Do you want to be in the Rumble?" I said, "Only if I can eliminate Big Strong Man." To which he went, "Deal." And that sounds like me going, "I want to put myself over," right? Okay, hear me out. In such a packed wrestling environment, I wanted to make sure that Big Strong Man had a little opportunity in there to do something really cool and really fun and quite viral. Because I thought, if I'm getting in the Rumble, that's something that Cultaholic are going to cover. And I thought, well, I'd like to do something with him. Really, that's my dream. So I thought, I ran it by him and I went, "Would you be happy to do something in the Rumble?" And he went, "Yeah, that'd be great." And he kind of put this thing together where I hope I'm not sort of ruining the magic a bit. And because he was willing to let me get some offense. And I went, no. You're a wrestler and you're hard as nails. It should be like a banana peel moment. So I think we ended up doing it. So like he runs towards me and I just sidestep and he goes flying out. And I go, "Yeah, I didn't even pull the rope down. I just sidestepped." And he went flying. I went, "Yeah, eliminated him, man." We had this finish planned where Ravy Davey would put me onto the ring apron, and then Alexis Falcon, who had cajoled me to get into the Rumble, ran to try and save me, ended up smacking me in the face instead, and I got flying out the ring. That was my elimination. Practiced it beforehand, and I went, "Okay." And they went, "As long as you just drop off the apron, land on your knees, you're fine. You're fine." Didn't do that, did I, though? No. Because I wanted to make sure that everybody looked good. Not that they wouldn't have looked good if I wasn't there anyway, but I wanted to do my part. So then the bit comes, whack, and I just throw myself off the apron. Adrenaline pumping. I throw myself off, and my head hits the floor, like proper concrete floor. Badoing. And I lay there. And later on, one of the audience members said, "You landed at our feet, and we thought you were dead." So I wasn't, obviously. So I get up, I get on the mic and go, "Tom Campbell's been eliminated," and and I go back to my position to announce people as they're arriving. And Gary runs over to me and he goes, "Mate, are you all right?" I went, Yeah, I'm fine. Does that look all right? He went, "Have you seen your head?" And I just felt a head and a big goose egg. I was like, "Oh no!" And he went, "We have to put you through concussion protocol." I was like, "Oh, really? How exciting." He went, "No, you might have a concussion." So then the medics come round and I realised, I'm shaking quite a bit. Is that normal? And he went, "It might be the adrenaline, but it might be something serious. Do you feel sick?" "No." "Can you count to 5? Yeah, 1, 2, banana, 4. Can you do it properly, please?" "Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Turned out to all be fine. But again, the power of love and my wife, in that I told my wife before I'd left for Coventry, "I'm doing this Rumble bit." And the last thing she said to me is, "Don't get hurt." I went, "I won't. We've planned it. It's fine. Don't get hurt." Okay. I went, "Oh, no." So the thing that was going through my mind wasn't, "Oh, no. God, this might be a concussion. This might be bad." No, it was, "My wife's going to kill me." I said, "I feel fine. I won't when I get home." And so anyway, it was all fine. I was told, "Look, if you start feeling sick or or getting dizzy or vomiting on the way home, go straight to A&E, that'll be a concussion. And it turned out it was fine. But then I had, again, film all your stuff. I knew I was doing this Rumble spot. And just before it started, I turned to one of the security team for the night and I just said, would you mind just, I pressed record, would you mind just capturing what happens here? He went, yeah, sure. And so he caught the whole thing. So the video is magnificent of me just like flying out of the ring, the donkey out of my head. And I went, I really want to share this online because it's really funny. But I thought I can't until I spoke to my wife and told, because I can't put this online and have my wife find out online that I nearly had a concussion. I can't. So I have to speak to my, so I messaged my wife at the train station. I went, you know how you told me not to get hurt? Funny thing. And I just sent her the video of it. And I think initially she thought it was Alexis Falcon's fault. And she went, who is she? I went, no, it's not Alexis's fault. It's my fault. I was told to go down and fall onto my knees. I threw myself out. She said, why'd you do that? I said, I was trying to help. And she said, well, what have you done? And I sent a photo of my head. And she was like, oh, for goodness sake, are you all right? Do you want me to pick you up at the train station and take you to A&E? I went, no. I feel okay. If it changes, then yes. But for now, I'm fine. She was very concerned about my health, as a good wife should be, as anybody would be. And it dissolved into, what were you thinking, you idiot? Why have you done that? I said, but then I thought, now she's seen it and now she's crossed. Now I can share it online. And then do you know what? It forged a friendship with me and Alexis Falcon, who I've always worked with, but we've never literally, we've been formalities normally of like, hello, what are you tonight? Dean Windass, D. Really like her entrance, really like what she's cultivated as a character. Big fan of Disney, big fan of Alexis Falcon. But since then we've bonded, and now she's my best worst friend. And she forever will be my best worst friend for throwing me out of the Rumble, and it's lovely. So I had been, and then the next day, I had my dad ring me, and my dad was like, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm sat at work." No, that video, your mother won't even watch it. And I've watched it. I said, "What do you think?" And he went, "You're an idiot. You're not a wrestler. Why are you? You're 40. Why are you doing this?" And I'm laughing on the phone. My dad's going, "This isn't funny. You could have really hurt yourself."
That makes it all the more funnier.
It's me, and I'm just dying because I'm like, I'm okay. I said, "Dad, I'm okay. I'm okay." He said, "But look, you're 40. You're 40 years old now. You shouldn't be doing this. You're not trained for it, and you really upset your mother. So you need to ring your mother and tell her you're okay."
That's the worst bit. It's like, we're not mad. We're upset.
Just disappointed.
Disappointed.
But if there's anything that comes from what we mentioned earlier, always get footage. Always share footage. Always share it. Always take the picture. I've come out of it healthy. I'm fine. Never let it be said that we don't get the footage, that we don't give it our all, and we don't give it a little extra. That is why I'm 3-time Worth the Left Side ring announcer of the year.
Exactly. 100% commitment, watch. Bumped heads and all sorts.
Absolutely.
Dude, mate, just, yeah, it's been a genuine pleasure. I kind of feel like I'm being overly selfish if I keep you talking much longer. I'm just like, oh, but dude, I honestly cannot thank you enough just for taking the time out and just talking to me. And hopefully you've enjoyed it. You know, hopefully it's been a little bit different. We haven't just talked wrestling. We've talked this, that, and the other. We've kind of just sidebarred. You know, we've just had a good old chit chat.
Of all the interviews I have done, this has been one of them.
If I'm not back in 5 minutes, wait longer.
No, I've had a wonderful time. Honestly, it's been really lovely to chop it up with you today, matey. Thank you very much for the invite.
Not a problem. I would say this is normally when I ask the guests to let people know where they can find you on the socials. But I'm pretty sure everybody knows where to find Tom Campbell. But if they don't, let them know where to find you.
Okay. Hello, at Tom Campbell on the hell site that is Twitter. You can find me there. I'm Mr. Tom Campbell on Instagram as well. And I am now taking bookings. I have a website launching soon, and it's not quite finished yet, so can't really talk about it. but it looks very nice, and I don't want to give the URL away just yet, but I am taking bookings for not just ring announcing, but I work as an event host. I work as a wedding MC. I'm a radio presenter. I'm a corporate host as well. And if you are in the market for somebody to bring a little spice and to be your guy on the microphone for an event, then I would be honored if you'd have a conversation and we can have a chat about it online. You can drop me a message on Twitter or find me on Instagram, and we can do the business there. But yes, and I'm also 3-time UK ring announcer of the year from Work the Left Side. So thank you very much for that as well. Thank you.
Yeah, not a, yeah,
oh, Cultaholic! I haven't plugged Cultaholic enough. What a monster I am. Cultaholic on Twitter, YouTube, Cultaholic Wrestling, and wrestling news videos every single day, live reactions, predictions, and all the good stuff that comes out of WWE PLEs and AEW pay-per-views as well. We do classic review podcasts as well. We watch every episode of Monday Night Raw. We have been watching every episode of Monday Night Raw for the last 6 years. The classic SmackDown review with myself and Matthew Gregg is every Saturday morning. And the Cultaholic Classic Nitro review with myself and the Shredditor Sam Driver on the podcast feed as well every single week. You can get video versions at patreon.com/Cultaholic as well. Would love you to join us there.
There we go. I could have probably talked about what you do on there, but I didn't want to kind of look like I was riding coattails or be like, oh, we'll talk about Cultaholic. But just, yeah,
we've plugged it. It's all good.
Go watch Cultaholic and see how it should be done. This is...
I wouldn't say that.
In comparison. But, mate, thank you so much. Honestly, just, yeah, from the bottom of my heart, it's been an absolute pleasure. To everybody else, obviously, you know where to find us, or if you don't, then you will do at some point, I'm sure. But hit like, subscribe, share, comment, do all the generic stuff we ask you to do at the end of every episode. Obviously, my boy Ash on Instagram will do a post when this gets uploaded on YouTube. He will tag Mr. Campbell in it. If you're not, for any reason, following Tom, hit that follow button, see what he's up to. If he's on a show near you, go to that show, be entertained, be enthralled, see how ring announcing is done. If you have like Tom says, if you've got an event coming up, if you need somebody on the microphone that can just lift people in attendance up, you can take it up a level, get in contact with Tom, hit him up. But yeah, I'm just going to start exploding with pleasantries and compliments and stuff. So I'm going to call it now. Tom, thank you so, so much. Before I get too complimentary, you think I'm hitting on you, I will let you say goodbye.
Stay safe and love you. Bye.
Adios, people. And remember, always work the left side. Goodbye.